Coding made
easy. What's up, everybody, and welcome to your next Monogame RPG tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to be adding the fade effect to our screen so we can transition from one screen to the other. I am sorry if I sound exhausted and really dead, and I'm sorry if I make a lot of mistakes in this tutorial. I am very exhausted, I am very dead right now, but I've decided to really try my best to make this tutorial for you guys. Because I wasn't able to make a tutorial yesterday. I wasn't able to post a tutorial yesterday, so I tried to make one today for you guys. So anyways, let us get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to be in the Screen Manager class, and what we want to do is have a void function called a public void called change screens. Or whatever. And we're going to take in a name parameter. And we're going to have a private void function called transition. And in this method, we're going to be having in certain methods and stuff to help us with transitioning. Now I want you to add a new screen, a new game screen, and you can call it whatever you want. I called it new screen to make it easier for me. And what we're going to do in here is we're going to say new screen is equal to activator game screen activator create instance type get type, and take your namespace, whatever it is, dot plus screen name. I hope you guys can see that. So what this is going to do is it's going to create a brand new instance of whatever our screen is. So if we type in splash screen in here, it's going to create a brand new instance of splash screen and cast it to a game screen type. If we put title screen or whatever, it's going to put that in there. Now, I did make a title screen. I'm going to be deleting it. That'll be for next tutorial. So anyways, if we go back to our Screen Manager class, we created a brand new screen, and there's some other stuff that we've got to do. So first and foremost, what we're going to do is we're going to create a texture 2D, or actually, we'll make a image. And what we're gonna do quickly is in here, when we create our instance, instead of doing it like so, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create an XML manager of type Screen Manager, and we're gonna say instance is equal to XML.load, and we're gonna load Screen Manager .xml. So if in the XML file, we're gonna load an image from our XML file. Now I'm gonna go to my content section, and inside my content section, I'm gonna make a folder called Screen Manager. And what we're gonna want to do now is we're gonna want to go to Paint or something like that. Open a new document, set it the pixels to 1 by 1. Want to zoom in and just color it black. Just make a black 1 by 1 pixel. Save it as fade image, whatever you want to save it as. Scroll down. So I'm just gonna call it fade image or something like that. So save that. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to our project. We're going to add an existing item, and our fade image is loaded. So now that we've gotten that done, what we want to do is create a new XML file. Let's find this. Call it Screen Manager. And inside this XML file, we gotta put our namespace or whatever it's called in here. And then we're gonna have our image and our path. Our path is going to be Screen Manager / fade image. Simple enough. So we have our image, we have our path to our image, voila. And what this black image is, the purpose this black image is going to serve is that we're going to, oh, there's something that we got to do as well, sorry. So we're going to set the scale to the screen's width. For the, oh sorry, for the X, it's going to be the screen's width. And for the Y, it's going to be the screen's height. So what this is essentially going to do is that when it's going to cover the whole screen. When the image is fully showing, right, when alpha is 1, that means the black image is going to be covering the screen, which means it's going to look like it's fully faded out. And then we're slowly going to fade it back in by slowly decreasing the alpha until it reaches 0. Once it reaches 0, that means the image is no longer showing, and therefore it looks like it's faded in. Now, I don't know if that was a good explanation, but if you want a better one, you can watch my XNA series. I believe I have a video on there about fading images, and I also have one in my platformer series. To continue with this, so we have our Screen Manager. This is gonna load our stuff from our Screen Manager XML file, and we're gonna load our image properties, and so on and so forth. So what we're going to do now is in our change screens, we are going to say image is active is equal to true. We're going to say image.fadeEffect.increase is equal to false. Image.fadeEffect.alpha, or increase should be equal to true, sorry. And image.alpha should be set to 0. Okay, so what this is gonna do is it's gonna, first of all, it's not gonna show anything on the screen. We're gonna fade it in. We're gonna increase the alpha value, which is in turn gonna show the black image over the screen, so it's gonna look like it's faded out, and then it's gonna fade back in. And you'll see all this in just a moment. And we're gonna make a brand new variable called, we'll make a public to XML ignore. And because we're using this, we have to make a call to system.xml.serialization. And we're gonna say XML ignore public bool is transitioning. And we're gonna have a get and a private set. Now, since we're using XML serialization in this class now, we have to put XML ignore here, XML ignore here. Also, put XML ignore here, and if you want to load your dimensions from the text file, from the XML file, then you can do so by making this a public set. But if you don't, then put XML ignore there. So, yeah, we have an is transitioning variable. So we're going to say is transitioning is equal to true. So in our transition method, we're going to say if is transitioning is equal to true, then we're going to make a call to image.update. So we're going to update the image element. So we're going to say that if image.alpha is greater than or equal to 1.0f, or we can just say equal to, then we're going to do all our screen transitioning stuff. And our transition method should take in a game time parameter. So we're going to say that if it's set to 1, then what we're going to do is we're going to transition all those stuff. So what's going to happen is it's going to fade out. Once it fades out, what we want to do is change screens, right? We're going to change from one screen to another screen, and then we're going to fade everything back in. So when the image is fully showing, that's when everything is fully faded out. And when everything is fully faded out, that's when we're going to actually change screens. So this is how we're going to do it. So we're going to say current screen is equal, no, current screen dot unload content I'm going to say current screen is equal to new screen, and we'll say XML game screen manager dot type is equal to current screen dot type, and we're going to say current screen is equal to oh, sorry, why did I do that? So we're going to say current screen is equal to XML game screen manager dot load, and we're going to load the current screen dot we're going to load the current screen's path. So we haven't set this up. I thought we already did, but we didn't set this up. So what we want to do is go to our game screen, and in here we just want to have public string call XML path, and in here we'll say XML path is equal to type dot to string dot replace our namespace. So put our namespace in quotations, YouTube RPG, whatever your namespace is, and replace that with nothing. So that is going to get our, and we're going to say plus .xml. So what that's going to do is that it's going to extract our screen's name. So it's going to be like splash screen.xml or whatever it is, title screen.xml or whatever. It's going to give us that path. Now, all our screens are going to be in the load folder, right? So we're just going to say load plus that, and then we're going to add XML to the file extension. Now, not all our classes require XML files. So what we want to do is we want to go right here, and we want to say that if, we want to check if the file exists. So what we have to do is, we have to include using system input output, and scroll down, we're going to say if file.exists, and we'll put in the path of current screen.xml path. So if this path exists, or this file exists, then we're going to set it equal to a new XML path. Otherwise, we'll just keep it the way it is. Then we're going to make a call to current screen.load content, and that's it. Now, after this, we're going to say else if image.alpha is equal to 0.0f, then we're done. We're done changing screens and stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to say image.isActive equals to false, is transitioning equal to false. And that is it for transition. So how we're going to implement it, we're just going to put transition in there. And we're going to put our game time. Now, in our, what we want to do is, did we create this class yet? No, we haven't. So we don't have to worry about this right now. But normally when we're transitioning screens, we're not going to want to take in gameplay input. So once we create our input manager class, we're going to prevent it that we're going to make it that our current screen can still update. It can update all its game elements, but we won't be able to take in new input. But that'll be for a later tutorial. So right here, what we're going to do is we're going to say that if is transitioning, then we're going to make a call to image.draw. Simple enough. So what's going to happen is, let's go to our screen manager, our splash screen, sorry. And we're going to say that if, sorry, we should include the input class, the input namespace, sorry. So we're just going to say if keyboard dot get state dot is key down keys enter, and screen manager dot instance is transitioning is equal to false, then we're going to make a call to screen manager dot instance change screens, and we're just going to go back to the splash screen. Now, since we're doing it, since we're loading the screen the way we're doing it, you have to type in the class name the same way that it is typed out here. Same case sensitivity and everything. So you have to remember that. So once, what we're going to do is we're going to click the enter key. It should fade out and fade back in and show the exact same class again. So I'm going to walk you through everything that's going to happen. So our splash screen is going to be loaded. When we click enter, we're going to make a call to change screens. Once we make a call to change screens, we're going to end up at our screen manager class. Our new screen is going to be set to a new instance, right? So since we set that we're switching to a splash screen, it's going to make our new screen, and it's going to create an instance of splash screen and cast it to a game screen type and store it in here. We're going to set our image to active, and what our image is this little 1 by 1 pixel, which is gonna, we set the scale to our screen width and screen height, so it's gonna be, the size is gonna fill the whole screen, right? So what's gonna happen is that we're gonna set is active equals to true. We're gonna set the increase equal to true, and we're gonna set the alpha to 0. So that image is not being shown at all on the screen. And then we're gonna set is transitioning equals to true. So when is transitioning is true, we're gonna set image.update. Now since image now we didn't actually add in a fade effect, sorry. So what we're gonna have to do is go to our screen manager.xml. We're gonna say effects, and we're gonna put fade effect. So since we have a fade effect, what's gonna happen is when we make a call to image.update, is since increase is equal to true, what it's gonna do is slowly increase alpha. Now, what's gonna happen is when we call image.update, alpha is gonna be like 0 point something or whatever, right? So it's gonna keep on increasing until it reaches 1.0. It's not gonna call any of these because remember, it's not gonna, first when we call image.update, it's gonna increase from 0.0. So it's gonna increase until it reaches 1.0. We're gonna unload the current screen, set it to the new screen, set the types, so on and so forth. If an XML file exists, then we're going to load in that instance of the current screen. Then we're going to call load content. Then what's going to happen is it's going to set increase to false. It's going to slowly decrease until it reaches 0. We're going to set image is active. Image is active to false. Is transitioning equal to false, and then we're going to be done with transitioning screens. So if all goes according to plan, this should work correctly. So let's run this program right now. So it says value cannot be null. So let's see what exactly is going on. So if we look right here, value cannot be null. So the type is null. So yeah, what we want to do is go to our screen manager, and we'll say, oh, but I was pretty sure the type was equal to, oh, what we need to do is go to our XML manager, and in our XML manager we're gonna have a constructor, and in our constructor we're gonna say type is equal to type of t. So if we don't set anything for type, it's going to be the type of whatever our generic class is set to. So we're going to run this again. So as you can see, we removed the fade effect from it, and so on and so forth. So when we click enter, what should happen is that it should fade out and then fade back in. So we've clicked it, and it says object is not, its instances or whatever not set to instance of object. So let's see what's going on. Okay, so our problem is, which I forgot to do, I'm sorry for this, is if we go to our load content, what we want to do is call image load content, because we have a bunch of stuff in there that needs to be, that will set certain things. we have to call image.unload content, and that should be it. So let's run this one more time. Hopefully it worked this time. Let's click enter. So it fades out and fades back in. So as you can see, it'll fade out, fade back into our brand new screen. So that's essentially how the transition is going to work. So we'll be able to fade out from one screen to another screen, and it'll have a pretty cool effect. So we'll get to see it more in action in the tutorials to come. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it wasn't confusing to you. I know I'm really tired, so I didn't really get to explain everything as in depth as I could. But if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask in the comment section below. I will be sure to answer any questions that you have. So that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this, and bye for now.